Hey guys, Mike from MasterYourMix.com here, and in this video I just want to share a quick little tip on how to get your guitars to sound really big and really full and very wide in your mix, and how to just get that pure rock sound that we always hear on the radio. So it all starts in the tracking stage, and this is something that a lot of people overlook. What they'll end up doing is, let's say they're recording rhythm guitars, they'll record one perfect take of rhythm guitars, nail it, and then move on to the lead guitars, and then they'll get one perfect take of the lead guitar, and then move on to whatever. Now, this can work, but it leaves a lot of limitations for the mixing stage. So let's take a listen to this guitar track I've got loaded up here, this top one, and I've got it panned right in the center here, and let's just listen to it. So it's pretty straightforward, right? But if this is all we had in terms of guitar takes, then there really wouldn't be many spots for us to pan that guitar. We'd either have to leave it right in the middle, where it would end up fighting against the vocals and the kick and snare, the bass, that kind of stuff, or we would pan it to the left and right. But if we only have one guitar track and we start to pan it left or right, we're going to end up with a really unbalanced sounding mix, where one side sounds a lot fuller than the others. So let's check that out. So let's pan this 100% to the left. Now our right side sounds really empty. We start to pan it to the right. Now our left side sounds empty. Now let's try panning it a little closer to the middle. Still isn't really adding any width there. So what a lot of people will do is they'll simply just duplicate this first guitar track here and then pan one copy of it 100% right and 100% left. Let's listen to see how that sounds together. It doesn't actually sound that much different. Really, it's just a little bit louder. And the reason for that is because that's all we're really doing here. If we zoom in on the waveform, we have the exact same waveform going on here, right? So we have everything going down at the same time, everything going up at the same time. We're not really doing anything to end up creating some stereo width. We're just simply amplifying the volume. So as an alternative, what a lot of people will do is they'll take that first guitar track that we listened to, and then they'll duplicate it, but to create a little bit more width, what they'll do is they'll add a bit of a delay. So I've done that here. So here is the top track here is our original guitar. And then if you look at the beginning of the waveform here, you'll see that I've actually delayed the duplicate track here by about 10 milliseconds. Let's listen to see how that sounds. So it sounds a little bit wider. We're starting to hear a little bit more separation between our left and right channels, but the guitar actually kind of sounds a little bit thinner compared to the original take that I played you. So let's listen to that. Here's the track that's been duplicated and delayed. And now let's listen to this track here. So things are starting to feel a little bit wider, but they're also sounding a little bit thinner. Now the reason for that is because by just simply duplicating and delaying a track, we're just actually introducing a lot more phase cancellation in the waveforms. So if you'll notice, all of a sudden we start to have some spots where the waveform is going down here and where the waveform is going up. And that's actually creating some frequency cancellation, which is why we're starting to get a thinner sound. And that's all you can do when you're simply duplicating, is just kind of push things a little further in and out of phase, which is why things are going to start to sound thinner. The only way it's going to sound really tight and full sounding and not have the phase cancellation is if you do exactly what we did up here, where you're duplicating and then you have everything lined up. But then you lose that kind of discrepancy in timing that creates the width. So what you really want to do as your solution is you want to record your guitars so that you have one perfect take of guitars, and when you get that, then play another perfect take, and then pan each of those left and right. So here's our first guitar take that I've got here. Stand that at the center for you. And now here's our second guitar take. This is a completely different take. It's playing the exact same part. But since we have two different takes that have differences in timing and differences in dynamics, when we pen them left and right, we're going to start to get that width that we talked about, but it's going to start to sound a lot more full because we're not canceling out the frequencies like we were with this one here, where we duplicated it and then delayed it. So let's check out how it sounds when things are doubled. Things are starting to sound a lot more full. We're getting a lot more of that low end there. So let's compare that, where we have two different takes, versus this one that's duplicated and delayed. Now the duplicate and delay. So yeah, things definitely start to sound a lot thinner there. Let's compare it one more time. So you can definitely hear a big difference there. So guys, that is what I would recommend when you're trying to get that big rock guitar sound. Simply record a guitar part, get it sounding perfect, and then record another perfect take of it, and then pan it hard left and hard right. And if you have rhythm guitars, do that. With your lead guitars, you could do that. A lot of times solos, people just kind of leave that one take and leave that up the middle. But if you're looking to just create width, just create doubles of guitar tracks. Now, you may be led to believe that the key to getting big guitars is just adding more and more layers. And you've probably heard some people talk about quad tracking guitars. And by quad tracking guitars, I mean getting 4 perfect takes of the exact same guitar part. Now, this can work for some people, but I really recommend not using that. And the reason for that is because the more you add nuances in timing and dynamics, the more you start to cloud up your mix, and the more it starts to sound muddy, and you start to lose the clarity of the performances. So it's one thing that I would recommend not doing, just because you want your guitars to sound nice and tight, and you won't hear that tightness if you have so many discrepancies going on with your timing between takes. So that's a really simple, quick tip to do, and I guarantee it will help your guitar sound a lot more full in your mixes. So that's it, guys. If this is your first time hearing about MasterYourMix.com, please visit the website. It's all about helping engineers, producers, and artists create better recordings, better mixes right from home. And if you go to the website, at the top of the page, there is a link to download your free copy of the Ultimate Mixing Blueprint. And that is just a guide to show you some EQ and compression settings to try in your mixes across a variety of different instruments so that you can get better results faster. So check it out, guys, and make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and leave a comment below if you found this helpful. I'd love to hear from you. And if you have any questions at all, or you'd like me to cover some material in my upcoming content, just leave a question below. Or you can email me at mike@masteryourmix.com, and I will gladly get back to you and create some new content to help you get your questions answered. So that's it, guys. We'll talk soon.